Hello and welcome. Right, I forgot to feed the chickens. I realised. I thought, no, you've not fed the chickens. You mentioned it, and then you went off and you didn't feed the chickens. So we've got to feed the chickens. We will buy some chicken food. We trying to think. Yeah, I've got to be honest. I was thinking this is one of the most challenging spots I've found myself in since FS19. I've got to be honest. Yeah, it feels very real. I do like it. It's true. The other thing is, I suppose, even now, there are certain things which it is true that although we're sort of pretty worthless, that I think we ought to have a bit of a procession of things that I'm never going to use or that are like really, yeah. And one of those, it is true what I was saying. Obviously, this little plough, I would sooner buy a ridiculous dominance because it would take me so much to actually do any ploughing on one of these fields that, oh, I've not got the front 3-point link, have I? Yeah, and I can't really afford to do it. As I say, we're sort of in a position that I've not found myself in for a long time where we've sort of been trapped, but I like it. I'm not. What I mean is the map makers put a really good scenario, and I like it. I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining that, yeah, this is a sort of position that I'm not found myself in for an awful long time, but I am liking where we actually are. I think we're going to need to. Oh no, that's yeah, not the actual. We're going to need to grab everybody. Oh yeah, but the thing is, you say that, but like, how are we going to? Yeah, it's true. Now I will keep that. I love that little trailer, but I prefer mine. Oh, we have lost sound. Ah, it's done a weird sort of glitchy thing to the sound. Yeah, literally, the game has just lost the sound. So I'm going to flick between the two sounds and hope that the game comes back. Ah, that's a little bit odd. Oh, we've had this before as well. Let me just check my my desktop settings. Oh, they are the wrong settings. Okay, let's see that if that's any better. Apologies for this. Oh, no, it's lost it because it's flipped from one device to another. So I'm going to stop recording and see if that fixes it. See you shortly. Right, apologies. Yeah, I've jumped ship. I was in the other tractor. I think what I'm going to do, because it's true, I've got to be honest, I've got to treat this with the absolute utmost of respect. I think I'm going to have to like really run with this one tractor where we're literally like taking everything, well, like two things at once, because I can't afford the wages. I know that sounds a bit, but we're down to 4,916 because of like placing everything with place. And it is true, let's clean house of the things that I'm never going to use and that might even bring in like 5 or 6,000 or maybe 10,000 if we sort of sell them, which right at this minute it seems a really good amount. So yeah, I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. Right, I think everything else is going to stay. It's not ideal, but it is true. I can't afford to get rid of everything because we can't afford to replace it. But so there's a few bits and bobs that I'm just not going to use, that it's not viable, like the plough, and that I'm not going to cultivate because I've got a stone picker, so I'm going to get a plough and a stone picker, which is what I normally do. And it is true what I was saying, although cross-reference was a poor choice of words, it is true. Basically, you've got to like weigh up your costs of your work wages, which are quite expensive on FS25. I noticed on Riverbend Springs, the very first Let's Play that I was on, that the wages were quite astronomical and soon added up when you were like using the workers a lot. So yeah, it soon runs away with you. So I would sooner have a bigger tool that's going to take my workers not very long to use than I would to do it the other way around. I'm not sure whether the horse, that's the other thing, I'm not sure whether it's viable because of how badly damaged it is, or as to how expensive it's going to be. But again, it depends. If it's been devalued to the point where it's worth a couple of grand, then the costs of repairing it were going to be pennies. So it's one of those, I'm not sure how much it's going to cost to repair, and it may be very, very negligible. Although the go whale is small, and it's true the bales are going to be small and all the rest of it, I'm reprieving that as well, even though we really don't need it now. I've got the red rock. That I like the Samos, that's staying. Everything else is staying. The Gorenk, although it's a little bit small, again, I think it's the 4.5 as well, which is even really small. But yeah, I can't wait really to see what we're doing. But the one thing we have got to fix is we have got to do those chickens. Yeah, we've got to buy some chicken food, and we can now afford to do so. So how much storage have we got in for the chicken food? 9,000 litres, so we will buy like a massive amount, because we've got a tiny amount of chickens that's going to last a long time. But we may as well do this properly and grab 9,000 litres. Do we really? No, I think that's we'll try our best to just get a couple of oh, that's true, we've also got that in there, haven't we? Yeah. Now I wasn't sure, because it's ever so strange in FS25. Now obviously as a modder, I've seen a lot in the game that you can, and what is what. Now forage per se, I showed this on Riverbend Springs, doesn't exist, but it may do now. What I mean is TMR is called forage in like in the mods. But I'm not sure if Giants have added another forage, and because that said forage. But when I tried to load forage that we'd mixed, that's the in-between state of like where it's not quite TMR, the game didn't know what it was and it didn't load it. So I'm not sure. Again, my production's not used to grabbing that kind of stuff. So I thought, well, this TMR, it understands what it is, but that forage, which seemed to go on forever, it doesn't know what that is, I don't think. But I thought I didn't want to make a mess here where we need to like get in and out of straight away. So yeah, swivel axle. Huh. Oh, we've changed the tip side. Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's tip side left, so we do need to go from the road inwards. Yeah, I'm going to say I'm used to this being a tip at the back, but it's true. We were given this for a good reason, and that is that it's not. Yeah, if I'd have done it right, I sort of remembered a little bit late. I thought, oh, hang on a minute. I think this does. It does have tip sides. Yeah, I forgot most of the of this particular model, or some that I'm used to. They actually like tip the other way. Now then, the other thing we really need to do now is, now that we have got that, is grab those bales and stick them in, because that's again another job. We really have got to dig deep, and we really have got to wipe this away. Okay, it's a beautiful bit of kit. This is well worth even the 20-odd grand of like what it normally is. So let's get that. So we've earned a little bit, but we've also like filled the fuel tanks, all those little jobs, repaired everything that needed repairing. Well, when I say everything, we've not done the cedar. We've only got one field. It is true we're awful, but we have bought a few bits of kit. You can't sort of forget that totally. And we still have got the ability to make the digestate, which we're going to need. Now I've bought Mack Truckers because I actually am moving back into the thing of liking the solid. Yeah, I do. It's nice to have the solid ones back. I've sort of obviously played with the ethereal ones for a while now, and I'm really sort of liking. I'm sort of trying to. I love the back on Mack Truckers as well. It's that also is something I like a lot. Why are you grabbing that? Why? I'm not even. I didn't even. Why? Oh, because it's just I didn't even grab it. I've obviously spiked it, is what it is. So we need to stick this little in here because we do still need to make digestate, and we do need stones. That's what we that's the thing that we sort of like realise that we're short of. Stones. That's what we ran out of. So let's get some. In fact, I don't think we've got enough grass to carry on. Yeah, but not that what we've just put in. We need to make. I've got a bit of digestate, but not enough. I remember sort of what we looked at it, and so we need these little bit. If we could get a chance to buy a bigger baler, but again, it's got to be really that it's affordable, and I mean really affordable, because we can't really afford just to swap things out when we've got something that does the job. Even if it's not ideal, it still does the job, and that really is the criteria I'm going on at the minute, because we can't afford to replace everything. Even the Super Sys, the farm tech there, I'm keeping it. Oh, okay. Yeah, the manure spreader, I was deliberating. I was like, are you going to get rid of that? And I thought, well, it's not a total bust. Again, I'm sort of, but the thing is, it's not. It is true, because I'm not going. Otherwise, you'd think, well, you're going back on what you were saying. I don't think we'll use it, but I was like weighing it up, and I'm not quite sure whether it is a sensible thing to get rid of it or not. I would say it is, if I'm honest. I don't think it's. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that is quite amazing. There's a few beautiful things that Callie's done on this that are really quite tremendous. Which I would not. I've got to be honest, the more I saw of Callie's workmanship in FS25, the more I realised that as a modder, and as a map maker, he really is coming into his own. Yeah, each map was slightly better than the one before, and they were already good. Yeah, there were refinements made that I thought, that is amazing. Yeah, it is always. It's strange, I was only thinking about a week ago that I'd not seen anything from Callie. And I thought, well, I wonder if he's given up. Nope, definitely not. Which it pleases me, because I've got to be honest, I am, as I said, a massive fan. He is a cracking modder. Saw a bit of Oxygen David's map. It really does look something special. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but it's at the very earliest. There were hints, not from Oxygen David himself, or guesses from is it Farm Sim News? I think it is Farm Sim News or something like that. I actually watch quite a bit. I really do like that channel. It's an American channel, but I like his style of reporting. So yeah, he was on about maybe an early Christmas present. But again, nothing from Oxygen David, and Oxygen David won't be rushed. But the pictures that were shown were absolutely astronomical. As he said it himself, probably one of the most. Although I've got to be honest, Saxingham by Farm Sim Briscoe is truly shaping up to be beautiful as well. So I'm not sure that I mean, I love Farm Sim Briscoe in FS22, but this looks like he's almost like up the ante, and it looks sort of like, again, certain modders grow, and I think the amount of effort he puts into his textures and everything. He's a perfectionist, and it shows in his work. He had a bad experience with people ripping his work off a few months back, and quite a few people were saying, "Oh, don't give up," because he was, you can really on the edge of like, oh, it's just not worth it. But it's, you know, a lot of us were saying, well, it's there's always bad people out there, always people willing to rip off your work. That doesn't mean to say the rest of the people who aren't and don't appreciate the you know, how good such a person is, and it never detracts from their work, even though it is terrible when people do rip you off. But what I mean is, life's full of people that are like that, always willing to rip you off. How come all of these bales are why are they all 5562? I don't get why. Are we losing grass because we went through the months? Is this back to like FS19? Has Cali done something special? A bit like FS19, or has Giants done something special? And I didn't realise. We've lost bales. Now, these were 4 bales, and now we're all down to 5562 when you get 2 of them. So they're actually losing substance. So whether Cali's brought that back or whether Giants have, and it's one of those features that, again, because not everybody grabs grass bales. I frequently grab grass bales like this. So is it something that no one's really noticed yet? Because most people don't do this. Most people had probably wrapped straight away, whereas I've got obviously the productions that do this for me. So I never, well, very rarely wrap. Very rarely. So then we need to grab a bit, I think, a bit more water, and we definitely need some more stones. I have remade my sheds, and I think they look a bit better. Still not as I'd like them just yet, but they are definitely better than they were, and the texturing's a bit better as well. Right, so, stones. What do we need? Let's have a look for once. Let's actually go in here and check what we actually need. We need double the wheat in digest state. So it's 9,000. So we need 18,000 litres. We've got 10. So we need 20 tons of grass, which I'm quite sure we've more than done. Yeah, we have easily. So we need, again, to put 20 tons of water in, which we haven't got any. So let's get that done quickly now. Yeah, no point in absolutely like caning, although I suppose we have got more. I think we'd switch most things off because we've got loads of herbicide. Also, yeah, I've got some other ideas. I thought I'd finish. I thought, oh, I can't think of any more productions. Well, I did some brainstorming with the help of Copilot earlier, as in, like, I mean, I was sort of asking different sort of things, again, things that we use in the game, and I was trying to think of things that haven't been done yet in the game, that based upon the crops that we've got. So I've actually really got some ideas. Yeah, so again, but I've got quite a lot like going on at the minute. I'd like to get the mods in the mod up, so instead of keep doing like fancy productions, I'm gonna like get some of these into the mod hub, really. Let's have a look. I would imagine we'd easily done that, and then some. Yeah, easy. Do one more for good luck, I think. Yes, I mean, I would normally straight away sell this. Again, the fact that we're not getting any value for anything, that really doesn't help. But in a way, it's brought a challenge. There was a map, an Eastern European map, that I can't remember its name now, that I loved. The equipment was battered. It was just added such an element of gameplay. I don't really think this is the wise choice for the tractor. Actually, it's the only one we've got here, so it's got to be. Yeah, we'll swap tractors down at the yard, I think. Although there's not an awful big difference between this and the case at the minute, but we certainly can't afford to upgrade the case. Not even its front 3-point link at the minute. So yeah, we're going to have to dig deep, I think, on this one. But this should help once we started to get the mineral feed done. Although obviously I've got to adjust to the fact that I've really taken to a minimum now the self-marketing, but I like it. Again, it's just making it a little bit more lean, a little bit of streamlining to make things a little bit tough, but you know, like not sillily tough, but just Right, so we want some wheat. Let's get some wheat first. Oh, that should actually... Yeah, let's feed the chickens. Now, that was actually very cheap. Yeah. Mine's like H2 Studios. It's got 60% off, so it really is a bit special for prices on that. That I've got... Ooh, left-hand side. And we do really need to get that. So, yeah, well, let's feed the chickens before we forget again. Don't want them starving. It's already bad enough that we forgot them last month. Now then. No, all the way. I don't think we can really recover from that. It's one of those times where it's just got to scrunch a bit, I think. Yeah, I mean, really, for how many chickens we've got, this should... Oh, okay. We need to check where the zone markers are. Yeah, until I'm used to this. Huh. Oh, that's a bit odd. Where do we stick the chicken food? Now that is milk. There's no tip mark, is there? There's the animal mark there. But there are the chevrons. It's like it's not accepting chicken food just yet. I wonder if it's gone wrong. Pig's ear comes to mind. Gordon, it really is actually a bit troublesome. Okay, let's do this another way, shall we? Yeah, there's no food symbol. I mean, that itself, as I know from modding, doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do it. But let's just have a look around the back while we're actually... You never know. It might not be quite... or then again, it might be. Aha. It's here. I should last them a while, so hopefully they'll forgive me for like them feeding on a few insects overnight. Bless them. Yeah, that was really bad. Yeah, I did feel awful. I was like, oh, you said you was going to do it and you've not done it. So that should be everybody fed. Everybody should be happy. Yeah. And obviously, again, we've only got 5 animals. We will buy some more cows, hopefully, in the future. That's everybody should be happy now, including... Obviously, their health is going to be poor. It's a good job this is a digital stock and that they're good at catching flies. So, stone. Yeah, let's not forget and, like, just go through. We may as well grab a full thing that would... Yeah. Because we can always make a bit more lime down the line with what's left. I want to... Yeah, I mean, it's only 20 tons. I'm used to me 50, 40, nearly 48 tonner sort of thing normally. We've got that. So, yeah, I'm used to it being enough. And when I looked, I thought, what? I've only made that amount of lime? That's a bit ridiculous. But then I thought, yeah, well, you've only got a 19 tonner. You're not used to it. They say you're going to have to dig deep. There's still a few bits of wood, wood chips that we've got to, like, grab. Yeah, it's a bit like that. I mean, I'd normally lease the mover, because it's only a couple of grand, but this is the kind of depth of like needing to dig deep that even 2 grand is too much to spend, and I would sooner spend it on a tool like the bucket that we've got over and over again. So yeah, that is my reasoning. Right, so then yeah, let's switch the zone markers off now again. I think we're all right. I just find it detracts from the realism element, immersion, as Mr. CLP would say, and it is true. I think it does, but I must admit I'm a little bit too quick. Yeah, you'll not do that. Yeah, a bit too quick to switch them off when you first come to a farm, and I've got to be honest, you sometimes do need your yeah, you do need them on, I think, when you first go around. So I think personally, probably the first episode, you really ought to familiarise yourself with those zone markers on a thing. It's sensible, but if you're creating content, it does add. But I mean, it's a bit like the bale store and that. I mean, I would not, if I hadn't stumbled across it, I would never have known that was there, and that's ridiculous. Right, so then let's just check. We should now have a lot. So the mineral feed should be happy. It needs stone, which it doesn't. We've got plenty of stone, plenty of straw. We had loads of straw left for what we need to do. Obviously, this is on a scale I'm not used to, but they've got plenty of silage, so it is possible to mix a bit of hay. Next time we can do the grass and make some hay is what I'm thinking. Next time we cut, which will probably be next year. I don't want to like go, but I am keeping the mower, even though I was like, oh my life, you're not going to cut that with that little Murray. And I thought, well, yes, I am. It's sometimes you need to dig deep. So then let's go through. And yeah, the one thing that was a bit of a shocker was how much we got from the generator. I was a bit shocked at that, if I'm honest. I seriously thought we would get rather a lot more from it. So whether it's been toned down or whether it's just a bad month, we shall see shortly. Yeah, because I did put the dearer one, the one with the better generator, not like the one that's a bit weak. Oh, but and yet you've only got 437 property income. That is a bit poor. Just make me wonder, did I put the wrong one down? I mean, yeah, we're losing money. Right, okay, well, oh. Wow. Now then, this... Yeah, seriously, we can make a bit of cash at this, although we've got to lend some cash to actually do this. That would be very, very useful. Of all the things there, I've got to be totally truthful, that is the most useful of all. Tedder, we've just got rid of a tedder. So we can nearly afford that. Well, we're going to need to lend some cash anyway, aren't we? So, well, actually, you say that. Let's have a look how much mineral feed. So 46,371 litres of mineral feed, which will fetch... Now, mineral feed is nearly always good. Yeah, it is. So 54,175. We will get more. So I think working with our business, we're going to grab that now. We will grab the super sys out of the way. Instead of like trying to push it out of the way, like manhandle it. In fact, we may as well actually stick that in, I think. So we'll now switch that onto whatever stone is left. I think we're going to make a bit more lime. So yeah, we'll switch that off now. So that was our first business, and obviously it was finite. It was only dependent upon what we'd actually got in. So lime. So we got what we've got, basically. Yeah, I thought with the forage I might be able to mix it a bit. That was the other I was going to keep the mixer, and I thought you've got this. It's really difficult with the wrong kind of bale size to actually make that work. I thought it is true what I was saying, and I don't mean that it's Callie's fault. We were set up to fail really by the game, if you were going to like be honest about anything. So we're going to need, I think, 3 sets. Yeah, just fantastic. Yeah, just over 2 full ones of this. So we should actually make more than it said, but we're only 33% more now, not 50. So we're not going to make 50% on top of that. It will be more than it said though, which is still brilliant. But that should at least mean that we don't need to borrow so much from the bank manager as we were going to. But we should actually make a bit of cash from this. But it's all of our cash until obviously the animals start to come into their own. But we've only got 5 head of cattle. So we really, it's not going to, we really need to get some more. Yeah, on that score, we're not going to do well out of milk, but I love that tractor. I think that is so cool. Yeah, the post box. It is amazing. Oh, the detailing, it really is phenomenal. I just love that. A sort of post. Oh, it's fantastic. It is. There's some really cool bits, if you look closely, that Callie's done. Right, let's grab some more. So, yeah, you can see quite a considerable bit more than what it's. Oh, we've also got a bit of an environmental score as well. So that's not too terrible. Oh, we've got some eggs. I suppose we would have. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't have expected a lot of eggs from 5 chickens? 6 chickens? I do love seeing the animals in the fields. I think it's quite amazing. Just, it's so real, you know, like real life, to see animals wandering around, even if they're not yours, in the you know, the fields. I think it's quite amazing. Right, so number 2. Yeah, it is amazing. Yeah, obviously the sales have really been quite augmented. You used to be lucky if you'd ever get 4 items in the sales. Now recently we're sort of getting 8 or 9 items, so that is quite amazing. I don't know if it's a second-hand thing. I don't think it is though. I think it's a Giants thing. I think they've actually, I mean, I think it's one of those features, and I know it is one of my favourite features. That I was of all the features that we'd got in FS22, the one I was hating to lose was the very idea of losing the sales. I did actually say that in a couple of sessions at the end of FS22, and I was like, I really hope that we do get to keep, you know, the sales, and we have. Yeah, Giants, because it was in older iterations, according to, I think it was Mr. CLP that I listened to, that said that it was on older ones, and then obviously it was removed. So I'm very glad. I really hope that Giants don't remove it, because it's one of those features that it's just fantastic. Yeah, 6. Sexual maturity 11. Reproduction 50%. Well, they've only just like got better because someone forgot to feed them. This is true. So the last little bit. So we're at 71,792 euros, which for us is, I mean, I've got to be honest, we have bought a lot of stuff as well, and the sales in their present iteration, where we've got so many items for sale, they really are helping a lot. But obviously we're sort of spending our money, as you tend to at the beginning of a Let's Play, as quickly as we're earning it, and we're not even buying fields or anything yet. So yeah, no, I knew it wasn't going to be a lot. Rain later. We've done all that we've got to do at the minute. We'll get that buying and selling done. We'll line up a few people for selling a few bits and bobs too. Yes, it is. It's gonna take some adjusting to the fact that obviously we don't get quite the bonus. But I thought hard economy is supposed to be tough. I think 50% is a little bit too generous on the bonus that you would get. I thought 20 to 30 odd percent, I think, is probably more like what you would get. So yeah, it has been adjusted. I think I'm happy with 33%. I'm not really tempted to go any lower than that. I think that's quite reasonable. So then let's go down the store and let's do a bit of buying and selling. So we've got our telehandler already. We've got that beautiful thing for the future. So, yeah, I was going to put the straw factory down. I thought, well, hang on a minute. If you're doing vegetables, you're not going to be producing straw. So I thought, well, why? Let's not do that. So I agree. Oh, the silo king. Now, at least that's bigger. I mean, that you could use, but I don't think we can afford it. So 83,000. Let's do a couple of these. We don't care. We're not bothered. I think we can only carry the whole thing. Yeah, of all these things, I'd love to grab the... Yeah, no, this is going to be a bit of fun, really, because not really the type of thing... that's a point, actually. I'm not sure how are we going to do this. I'd normally do this on a trailer. I'm not sure we could even, like, do... I suppose we... Well, I don't know, because your leverage is going to be... Your weight ratio is going to be really terrible. So, but I mean, yeah, it's about the only way you could actually do it. But yeah, there are cars coming around, so we're gonna have to be very quick, I think. I didn't give this much thought, did I? Really? Not the easiest of things to shift and to sell going through a town. Now, I've got to hope that the police aren't around, because I've got to be honest, I would agree with them that I was a little bit silly in doing this. Not a terribly good thing to do. I often do things like this where you don't think through the consequences of your actions. Yeah, that was very, very silly, really. Right, so then we want... Yeah, may as well... Let's grab that to 2. Don't any of that. Do love this little Merlot. I love the markings on it as well. Again, the ARM team are very... I didn't realise either. Obviously, I know him as Death's Pledge. I've seen Veteran Modding, and I thought, who's Veteran Modding? Well, that's Death's Pledge. Yeah, he's changed his name, so... Which, again, I'm quite sort of pleased that Death's Pledge, as I knew him, or Veteran Modding, has not left the game. And Hispano is on fire. I have got to be honest, that modder is absolutely he must mod like literally like over, you know, all day long. It's got to. It's like, right, it's 12,000. Right, so then yeah, let's grab that next. In fact, we could probably drag that one whilst grabbing that there. It is true, actually. The mix, or no, we won't. We'll just... We've got the capability of mixing in the self-sufficiency. That's one of its main purposes, really, was to assist farmers in, like, all kinds of making of food. Biggins has done rather an amazing thing. Very similar to the self-sufficiency, only even more special. Yeah, these oil cans are... quite, yeah, all over the place. Yeah, very, very... And now it doesn't surprise me, I've got to be honest, of all of the modders I've seen, Biggins is the one that I'm watching. Yeah, that modder is really tremendous. Absolutely amazing work. The Biggins, he really knows his way around mods. So yeah, I'm quite impressed. So I'm not really surprised that he's pulled such an ace mod out of his hat. Yeah, because what he isn't capable of, yeah, he's one of those. When I saw it, I thought, yeah, that doesn't surprise me that he's released something like that. Right. Okay. So then now we're getting to some serious. Yeah. So it is true. Although I would like, in a way, to sort of work with this. I think it's a good price actually for such a big Butte. Yeah, so we're looking for headers for that butte. Yeah, it's nice to have a bit of cash, but again, we're not exactly like out of the woods. We're not going to earn a fortune out of those few thousand litres of wood chips. They might make us a few thousand, a couple of thousand, but it's not going to like... Yeah, so really our best ally really is what we're doing now, is the shop. Wow, this is heavy. It really is struggling. Wow, I mean really struggling. Right, so now we're getting to the serious stuff. So we need to lend 48. It's a shame that we can't afford that. But again, I'm trying to observe what Callie sort of said was it really is up to 250. I might stretch it to 350 with the right kind of tractor, but I'm going to try to stick to his guideline roughly. I think that was enough. Yeah, it is. Yep. Again, I mean, there's some tractors really, they don't... I don't think it matters, but no, we'll stick to the guides. I'm quite happy with that. I say if it was a medium but strong 350, I think I would do that. But I do like this tractor. I've had this on 2 or 3 Let's Plays. It really is a beaut. I frequently get it at a really good price. I've been quite fortunate with getting it like this one, really, to a terribly good price. Which is why I'm crying in my boots that we've got to sell it. Right, so then, and we can just afford that. And then hopefully... Well, we can afford the Anderson, but what I mean is obviously, yeah, I'd imagine of all the selling and buying we've done, by the time we've paid the loan off, we might just about have made the Anderson out of all this. And that's what I'm saying. If you can manage to do that you can buy yourself a little... Because, the other thing is, obviously, it's terribly reasonable. That's about half price. So, I mean, it really is a bargain. And we'll definitely speed the farm up as well, so... Yeah, this is another thing on maps. This is, yeah, where things don't always appear. It's very, very temperamental. Right, let's just repay that. Yeah, on, what's the name of the map? No, we're on the right one. No, it is that one. Finances, repay, what have we... Oh, it's doing better than I thought. Yeah, so by the time we actually buy that, we're still going to have 120 odd grand, so we did make quite a lot out of that. Fantastic. So another tool and still up to 118,693. Now I would imagine, in all honesty, that our animals are going to be like really good, that we're not going to like need to feed them yet, because yeah, I mean it's sort of productivity 100%, meadow. Now we could obviously give them a bit more TMO, but they're not really going to lose any. So 5 and then 3 littlies. Again, that's hardly going down at all. So we really don't need to do anything. We're not cutting the grass. We haven't got any assets, I don't think. Well, not that we're selling. I mean, we have got assets. We did make herbicide, but that's not to sell. So we've got a lot of silage that we did actually make from the grass. So we could... now, this is one thing I would allow, and that is the buying of hay. We've got some straw. So we could mix our own TMR, so I think we will do. Let's go and grab some hay. And we will use you, because you've not had a... now, where did we stick the... I think we left it at the front of the farm, didn't we? Yeah, so we can at least mix our own TMR, if nothing else. Nah, this is already on here, isn't it, really? So, Yeah, I wouldn't mind grabbing the front 3-point link on the case as well, but I don't suppose we really need it at the minute, so... Right, so hay. Let's grab a full load of hay. Smashing. I think we're going to need a couple. So we'll come back, grab another one, and say all these little jobs. I'm determined this time because obviously we really have got to dig deep. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know we've been saved from the jaws of death. We certainly are not in such dire straits as we were 10 minutes ago. And I did know the mineral feed was going to come around, but yeah, obviously the sales have been good to us too. You don't always get big items. You can sometimes get things where there's nothing that's going to like help you, and often am I too close? Have I changed my tip side? Why is that not wanting to like accept hay? Should do. Was I too far out? Yes, I was. Right, so let's grab the TMR and start that mixing. And we will... So 94 tons of silage. So I want twice as much. So really, it would be 180 tons of hay. We're not going to do quite that amount, I don't think. We'll do... I think what we could do is 2 or 3 of these. Let's do 3. Let's do a goodly amount for now. And then we'll grab some more later on. Or do we just go for it and time-lapse this? We could really do with getting this done, couldn't we? And it is a bit boring if I'm going to laboriously... Also, it has been a fairly long session, I would say, already. I would say we're probably about there. So let's get this job done. Let's do this last job. I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. I think that's not too terrible. I think we're going to leave it there. So, yeah, up to 116,498. We've got our animal. I will buy some. Do we buy some more animals now? I think we'll buy another 5. I can't afford an awful lot, but I just think that 5 animals, it's never ever going to do very well if we don't actually buy any more. So I think we'll buy... Do we buy some water buffalo and like do a 50-50 split? Now, the only bad thing about doing this... but the milk, yeah. I went on a map, a European map, and it was the Holland map, and it doesn't support water buffaloes, even though the game does. The actual milking place didn't. So I think we'll do 10 of these, because they are actually quite reasonable. And I think we'll do 5 of the Holsteins as well. Fantastic. So we've got 25 animals now. No, we haven't. We've got 20. I can't count, apparently. You're 20 animals. What did it? Yeah, no, we did. 10 and 5. So that, yeah, we had 5 already. You know, like, get with it, Mr. Smith. Now, they should soon have some more chickens. Yeah, they should. Yeah, 50% and their of course, yeah, really, it's going to take a while, but I've got to be honest, it's going to get to a certain point where they sort of snowball a little. In fact, yeah, let's assist them a little. It's going to take them a long while with only 3 chickens. So it's here, I remember. Yeah, so let's grab another 3, another 11, I think. Fantastic. Brilliant. So I've got a few eggs. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it this session. Yeah, so all that remains to be said is thank you very much for watching. Truly do hope you're going to stick with me on this journey on this absolutely beautiful map from Cali. And I'm going to say goodbye for now.